Let us start today's strength of material lab. Today's job is with the strain gauge, characteristics of strain gauges itself. I will show you different manuals, working manuals, which we can use in practical work, and we'll show you certain videos uploaded from YouTube to show you the different method of different process of using the strain gauge itself. Actually, don't have much difference between it, but the people concerns the different type of setting, which is interesting in nature. So I hope it will draw some interest from your side. Now, what do you understand by the mechanism of a strain gauge itself? First of all, what is the mechanism of strain gauge? And we are supposed to plot a graph between strain gauge output as applied strain. During a solid mechanics study, we have gone through the strain rosette system. Strain rosette system is nothing but keeping different strain gauges in a methodical manner, with which we can measure the applied strain electrically to find the amount of strain, which is available on the particular point of a particular workpiece itself. Now, what we need is here, we need different strain gauges, and we need another strain gauge kits, which is used as we need one strain gauge kit, which is generally used to go through to make the different electrical signals available to different points of the strain gauge itself, and thus converting the result to a definite strain in the form of a meter itself. And we also need external digital multimeter itself, through which we have to connect this strain gauge kit to the strain gauge itself. Now, the strainer is made for measurement of strain through strain cantilever bridge itself. Through strain cantilever bridge, it is defined as strain cantilever bridge. I will show you at the time of my video. This particular video, what is cantilever? You know, it is cantilever means a certain rigid prismatic bar which is embedded in the wall in one end, and it is being carried and supported by the wall itself. Without they don't have any more supports inside it, but it carries certain amount of load, and that load is supposed to be carried out or supported by the wall itself, because there is no different support is available generally. But it is possible to apply different type of support, and it is possible to apply different type of load, like pointed load by uniformly distributed load, but distributed load, but not uniform. It is different, varies from one end to another, like this. Now, this kit is useful for strain gauge through strain cantilever bridge. What we call is here to calculate the strain. It is defined as the strain cantilever bridge. All the different test points are provided on the top cover, which gives us heading to facilitate the students to understand without any operating instruction by third persons. Actually, different points are provided on the strain gauge kit itself, and with proper leveling or proper heading, so that you can understand without any explanation, etc. Now, what mode is available? The weight itself, which is supposed to be the external load we have to apply to know the strain itself. This weight should be known to you. The range, it should be given to you, because every strain gauge has a certain range beyond which it cannot cover it. Excitation, analog output, and power source, etc. Procedure. Next, we have to connect the main cable to the supply, no problem. Next, we need a external multimeter between green and white terminal, marked as S and B respectively, of strain gauge strainer. So there is a green and white terminal marked as A and B. One is green and another is white terminal in the external micrometer itself. So with this micrometer from these 2 points, white and green terminal A and B, it respectively, we have to connect it to the strain gauge strainer itself or the proper point itself. Now put the multimeter in multifold region, millifold range level, because multimeter can be adjusted for different ranges. We'll we will pick up the millivolt voltmeter in terms of which is meter millimeter like millivolt means which is 1 by 1000 millimeter 1 by 1000 volt range. Now our new switch we should start and leave the module for 2-3 minutes generally for to make everything is okay for output. Then apply the strain with this cantilever over the cantilever beam with the help of weight provided is given with us like this here. Uh, Now apply the strain with the help of weight provided with the trainer. Multimeter, we go through the multimeter reasoning in multifolds, millifolds, and plot the gulf between the strain and output of strain gauge itself, between the strain and output voltage of strain gauge itself, which is given here like this. So this is the multimeter here. We put in the millivolt system, apply the plus and minus, means white and green and white system, green for plus and white for minus, in respective points of the strain gauge itself. And then start the rate, turn the power, and keep the particular upper test kit, if a particular load with the load with the cantilever and the strain generated with there in different point connected to the connected to this 10 gauge kit is being shown here like this. Next is uh, the observation we should point out like this, weight, different weights which will point out this plot, and output voltage what you have got, you will point out the plot here. Next, we have to produce the graph in terms of weight as per axis, the output as per ordinate itself. First precaution, there are a few precautions. Weight should be cantilevered very carefully, not all on a sudden, but slowly, but steadily. You should keep it over the lid, and it should not fall down from the lever because without causing our meter reading should be there, would be wrong. All joints should be tight and clean itself, and multi-lever should be module on the 2-3 meters for wind up of the different switch itself. Now, you have to figure out another process. We plot a graph between the weight and applied voltage itself, weight and applied load, between weight and applied versus applied load versus output in microsecond. Oh, so far we have discussed the output in terms of millivolt. Now we have to plot it against the weight as well as against the weight to microstrain of the blade itself. Now apparatus is there, of course, the same apparatus, strain gauge and strain gauge kit itself. Again, we have to connect the main cable to the main supply and connect the load cell transducer to A to X and B to Y terminals. So you have to use A to X terminals within of a load cell transducer. We have to connect X and to B within of a voltage transducer because in the circuit given here that A to X and here B to X is a name. We have to connect it by load cell transistor. Then connect the output terminal HI, which is the here. It is connected to the millivolt meter. This is connected to the millivolt meter. Next, HI terminal TP4 is to be positive terminal of digital panel, and output terminal LO TP high to negative terminal of digital panel itself. Turn on the power switch, then we will apply power switch put. We have put the power to the machine, to the setup. Wait for 3-4 minutes to get everything within our control. Then place the load finally on the cantilever with the increasing step of say more or less 50 grams or as per available with you. Note down the output reading of digital panel meter means here and plot the graph itself. So here we are plotting the load versus the output in microsecond in that of the bridge itself. Let us go through another strain gauge itself. Strain gauge. figure. Now, here, what we are having a manual over it to tells us the different details of the our basic structure itself. Does increase a bit. Now it is in orientation in one direction. It is that the orientation is left and right, and which is the direction of strain that the strain gauges is desired to measure. And the strain gauge is bonded to the material being measured, used a special adhesive that will accurately transmit the mechanical strain from the material to the strain gauge itself. When the gauge is mounted on the metal to be measured and the material is pressed, that strain gauge to strains, stress to compresses with the stressless material itself. This causes a change in the length of the conductor in the this caused a change in the length of the conductor it causes the when the stress is this causes a strain in the length of the conductor in the strain gauges, which always causes a corresponding change in its resistance itself. Note that because of the way the strain gauge is stressed in the vertical direction, and it will undergo very little change in the resistance. If it is stressed in the oblique triangle, it will measure the strain component one direction only and horizontal for this purpose. And what is given here is the backing and copper coated cables itself, and this is the grid, and this is the encapsulation itself. The following are the list of precautions to be strictly adhered when using the trainer kit itself. Ensure the AC specification is 230 volt. There should not be dropping voltages. Always switch off the power supply from the fluid provided on the trainer kit before connecting and disconnecting the mesh cord to the socket. So connecting and disconnecting should be done when the main switch is switched off, not it is in on condition. Always manual and circuit as per the page. Do not open the instrument. It can result in malfunction of the system if the wire are shorted or break. Never apply or other external voltage, any other external voltage channel except the operating voltage itself. In case of the fuse blows, in case the fuse blows away, replace with a fast blowing fuse of same rating. In case of malfunctioning of the trainer, this contact applies subdivider only. So you should not do any maintenance there. The specification and operation of this technical operation shall correspond by the accompanying equipment. Since the system is constantly uploaded technically, manufacturers do not guarantee the reset. Now, the features what we have here, self-coated and easy to operate. It is self-coated and easy to operate, sensitive, linear, and stable and accurate. Test points to operate output of each block of onboard brain, 3 to 1.5 voltage LED display, online cantilever element, high rapidity and reliability itself. When technical specifications are like this, there are parameters measured, strain in terms of grams of the cantilever beam, all weights, measuring system is the weights and transducers. Transducer, temperature compressed with strain gauges, type, copper nickel foil with polyimidable carrier base. Gauge resistance 350 ohms, gauge length 8 millimeter, and gauge width is 2.4 millimeter. Now gauge base is this is the dimension itself. Gauge factor is 2:1. Transducers mounted on a stainless cube. Just 1 second. Transducers mounted on a stainless steel measurement cantilever beam. Configuration should be like this: bridge with two arms and strain gauges up to range up to 0 kg. Actual strain by various weights to be placed in a pan. DC regulated source. 0 applied by potentiometer, 3 to 5 digits each way. 5 points are provided on various sources itself. And power requirement to 30 volt, 10% AC, and deleted in the instruction manual itself. What is the theory behind it? When a force is applied to a unit area of any metal, applied to a unit metal area of any metal for the stress, the material undergoes temporary deformation. That deformation, this strain can be positive, tensile, negative compression. For a given cross-sectional area stress, most materials have a very predictable and repeatable strain. By knowing this characteristic, we can measure it. Strain gauge is fundamental building block in many sources. In many sensors, since it's capable of indirect measuring forces, indirectly measuring forces can be also directed to measure force related units such as weight, pressure, gravitation, flow, inclination, etc. Therefore, because of this widespread use, it is very important to understand the theory regarding strain and strain gauges itself. Mathematically, strain is defined as the range in length of a material with respect to overall length of the stress, or 6L by L, since the numerator and denominator of the expression are in the same unit length. Strain is a dimensionless quantity itself. The lowercase itself, the epsilon or epsilon, and is used to derive strain in mathematical terms. Because the strain of most solid materials are very small, we can generally factor out 10 to the power minus 6 from the value and then define the stress as microstrain, mu strain, or mu epsilon itself. The most commonly method for the measuring of strain is the strain gauge, and the strain gauge is pointed circuit on a printed circuit on a thin, flexible, as corrected letter or backlog, the majority of conductor length of the printed circle itself. In this circuit, it is crucial for the wire from R2 R3 to R strain to be identical length. AWG gauge and copper height to the wire from R strain to R2. By doing so, the voltage drops in the two wires will be equal. Voltage drop in the two wires is supposed to be equal. We then add a third wire to measure the grain of strain. Resistance of the wire from R strain to R2 effectively becomes R strain, the resistance of strain, which replaces the bridge itself. The study pattern of strain gauge, the strainer is meant for measurement of strain through strain cantilever bridge. The kit is very useful for the study of strain. It is very useful for the study of strain, and through cantilever bridge, all the different stress points are provided on the top cover, with giving their heading to facilitate the student to understand without any operation. It is designed to measure the strain on axial axis when one strain gauge is needed for each axis, and each one is mounted in the proper direction corresponding to its particular use. If two strainers are sandwiched one top to another and at third them to each other, it is possible at right angles to each other, and it is possible to measure oblique strain by vectorially combining the strain readings from the two gauges. Strain gauges with thinner, longer conductors are more sensitive to strain than those with thick, short conductors. By controlling these characteristics, the manufacturers are able to provide strain gauge with a variety of sensitivities called gauge factor. In the strain equations, gauge factor is indicated by the variable. Mathematically, strain factor is factor K is the change in the length divided by the normal resistance provided by the strain. The mathematical expression is like this here. where R is the original resistance of strain gauge. 6R is the change in the gauge for a given strain, and H is the strain itself. Typical gauge factors itself. The typical gauge factors are on the order of strain gauges are commonly available in normal resistance values of say 120, 150, 600, 700 IK, 5.K, 6K, ohms, etc. Because the change in resistance is extremely small with respect to change in resistance is extremely small with respect to the nominal resistance. Strain gauges resistance measurements are generally done by using a balanced Wheatstone bridge, such as figure in our second figure here. The resistance R1, R2, R3 at fixed position, low temperature position resistance. Resistor R strain is the main phase, the output of the input of the bridge itself. And VSI is a fixed DC power supply, typically 1.5 to 10 volts. The output, big out is the difference between the voltage itself. Here, in this figure number 2, strain gauge in a Wheatstone fixed circuit stone. Here is R1, R2, and R3. R strain is here. This is the voltage or input of the current, plus and minus itself. The direct current is supposed to be given. Here is also, it has the voltage of the resistance itself. Assuming R1, 2, 3 is equal to R strain, these will be balanced and the output V will be 0 itself. However, should the strain gauge is restored, the resistance will increase slightly and cause V output to increase in positive direction itself. Likewise, if the strain gauge is compressed, its resistance will be lower than the other 3 resistors in the fault, and the output voltage will be negative. For large resistance changes, the Wheatstone bridge is a non-linear device. However, near the balance for 0 point, the bridge is very linear for extremely small output voltage. Since the strain gauge resistance change is extremely small, the output of the bridge is likely to be small. Therefore, we can consider the strain gauge bridge to the linear. For example, consider the graph shown in figure 3. This is a plot of Wheatstone bridge and output bridge versus the strain gauge material resistance with a 600 ohms bridge. All 4 resistors are 600 ohms with Vm is equal to 1 volt. Notice that even for a strain gauge resistance throughout the ohm, the bridge voltage is very small. Next, the Wheatstone bridge output for 600 ohm resistors. One fundamental problem associated with strain gauges is the measurement is that generally the strain gauge is physically located some distance from the remaining resistors in bridge. Since the change in resistance of the strain gauge is very small, the resistance of the wire between the bridge and the strain and it just unbalances the bridge and creates a measurement of air. The problem is worsened by the temperature coefficient of air, which causes resistance to drift with measurement temperature itself. Nearly, the straight games are designed to have a very low capacity temperature, efficient, and by wire measurement is shown here. Next, we have the next experiment is we have to plot a graph between the weight, applied load, and versus output voltage of the bridge displayed on the LED itself. Calculated in microstrain. Equipment strain gauge. What is the procedure? Connect main voltage to the supply. Then again the same thing which I have told earlier. The load cell transducer A2X and P2Y terminals provided on the module as per switch. Connect the output terminal to plus positive terminal resistor of transmitter or connect the output terminal negative field terminal of the digital panel meter itself. Turn on the power switch. Leave the module of 3 to 4, 2 to 3 minutes for 1 up. Place the load on the cantilever with increasing steps of 50 meters. Now, the output reading of digital parameter will drop the result itself. Characterization was used in load cells. Since the resistance charges with respect to load is very small, the effective method is to use a Wilson bridge. The strain bridge load is mounted in load sensor from the bridge itself. And what we apply cells to a valve as well as power output source to the load cell itself. Digital cell of the digital multimeter itself. The next number 1 is the characteristic of strain gauge. Plot the strain with the strain gauge operate as per supplied main. Equipment, strain gauge, strain wheel, tube, external details on contact to the procedure is connect the main voltage, connect the original multimeter with gauge, and into green and white terminal marked as A and B supplied exclusively with strain gauge channel itself. Since that the multimeter is millimeter and turn on the power switch, hit the module of the 2/3 millimeter connects for the power burn off. Next is apply the strain with the help of weight provided with the trainer. Measure the multimeter reading in multifolds and plot the graph between the strain and output voltage of strain gauge itself. Now, serial number is 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Strain given in gram, load 50, 100, 150, 150, 200. Output voltage 1.0, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.5. Thus, we have connected the voltage with the output PD voltage, and connection is given from the point D itself to the flash point of the voltmeter itself. And applied strain can be plotted here, and applied strain can gauge output is plotted there. Now, in micro strain, the output is 115 for 50 kg load in grams, 250 micro strain in 100 kg load, 100 to 150, 250 will opposite of that other type of material, and 50 plus 100 and all 375 approximately breaks the material itself. As Wilson bridge is like this here, we have to plot it here, plot it the voltage as well as the weight as well as the voltage in 2 axis itself. For experiment 2, this is the connection itself from positive of the voltmeter. It is to be done to G, Li, and for negative voltage, find to Just go through the same thing more or less, but given in Word file. It is have told the precautions and note what we have just told you. The theory is applied as features technical specification is given here, and experiment study of the strain gauge, the range, everything is given, and 5 stars are exercise portion, and it is a strain gauge Wilson packet bridge, and it's chart for plotting the objective, and System B has with 3 were strain. Here it was fewer, here it was 3 were itself. Experiment 2 is the characteristic of strain gauge used in color load wave cell. 1. The procedures are given. Experiment they will connect the main link is already clicked. The LD model is strain. There is nothing much to explain for that. Here, this is another type of next experiment, which is where you can find from here to here, and here to here itself in the multiple divided itself. So what we have got from the experience 60, 100, 100 to 150, 100 to 160, 4, 575 millisecond, 461, 4 millisecond, 384 millisecond, and 230 millisecond and 115 millisecond itself. This is the circuit of the next experiment. Here T4 and T5 is connected with positive and negative respectively, and J and Y is connected, T and Y is connected, and X and Y is connected, R is connected to the as per our circuit loading system itself. And we have to turn the bolt to make the reading from this particular direction. Well, this is more or less the theory between the strain gauges. Let us go through the practical problems again.
Okay, so good morning all. The experiment that we'll be doing today is strain measurement using a strain gauge. Okay, so this is the instrument that we'll be using to measure strain. So first of all, we have to calibrate this instrument such that it gives the correct reading. So here we are having a strain gauge. Okay, this is the load that we'll apply. Okay, each cylinder is of 100 gram weight and the total weight is 1 kg. So we will take this thing here and we will apply the weight to this cantilever beam. Okay, and we are going to calculate the strain of this cantilever beam using our instrument. Okay, so this beam is actually connected to our instrument here. As you can see the circuit of the instrument, the strain gauge is connected as a Wheatstone's bridge. Okay, and any change in its length will cause a change in the resistance that will bring this Wheatstone's bridge into an unbalanced condition. So that voltage is actually amplified using an instrumentation amplifier. Okay, so this is the physical parameter that we need to measure, that is the strain. That strain is sensed using the strain gauge and it's converted into an electrical signal using a Wheatstone's bridge configuration. That voltage is amplified using an instrumentation amplifier, and finally the output voltage is displayed in your meter. Okay, so this is the instrument that is being used to measure our strain. Okay, so now let us see how to calibrate this instrument. Okay, so first of all we'll remove this load, we'll keep it aside. So this is our strain gauge as it is. So we have applied zero load. Since we have applied zero load, the output should be actually 0, but it is displaying as -2. So what we'll do, we'll change the zero balance here. Okay, this is the zero balance calibration system and this is the final value calibration system. So for zero balance, we'll rotate this potentiometer such that the display will show 0 voltage. Okay, now our display actually shows 0 strain. Okay, since we have applied no weight, we have applied 0 strain. Okay, Now let us put the final weight, that is a 1 kilogram weight, to this strain gauge here, and corresponding to 1 kilogram weight, actually the strain is calculated to be 377 micro strain. Okay, the calculation is shown here. The strain of this device is calculated using this equation, 6 PL divided by BT squared by E. Okay, and the final value when we apply a weight of 1 kilogram is 377 micro. Okay, 377 into 10 raised to minus 6. Okay, so that much change in length is coming when we apply a 1 kilogram of weight to this strain gauge. Okay, so if 1 kilogram has been applied, our output should display 377. So using my final calibration, I will make this value as 377. Okay, 377 is the final value. Now I'll remove this complete load and see whether actually 0 is coming or not. If 0 is not coming, then I have to again calibrate this using this 0 setting. So I will again calibrate this to become 0, and again I am applying this complete weight here. So you have to do the calibration till you get the correct value for both sides. Okay, so here we are having 377. Okay, 376, 377, it is fluctuating. That will be not a big problem. Okay, so if we are having the final value as 377, let us see again what happens when we remove this load. Okay, now it's 0. Okay, now we can say that our strain gauge is correctly calibrated. 376, just will make it 377. Okay, 378, that will be enough. And if I remove the load, 0. If I put the load, it is 376. Okay, 376, 377. Okay, that's a minor change only. So we can say that our device is correctly calibrated. Now to perform our experiment, we will apply 100 gram, okay, of weight each time to this strain gauge, and we'll see what is the measurement for each of the value, each of the weight. Okay, and we will compare it with the actual value. Actual value means the value that we get from using that equation. Okay, okay, now I have removed all the 100 gram units. Now I am going to apply. Okay, this rod is the 100 gram first of all. Okay, so for 100 gram, actually the output should be 37. Okay, this is the actual reading that I need to get, that is 38, 75, 113, etc. Since I am getting 43, that means my calibration is not correct. Okay, no, actually the position was wrong. Okay, I am getting 36. Okay, instead of 38 I am getting 36. So a minor error is there. That is the beauty of calibration. So by calibrating you can actually minimize this error. So now I am putting another 100 grams. For another 100 grams, the output that I am getting is 73, and the actual reading is actually 75. So this is because of that minor error we had during the calibration. Okay, 74 instead of 75 I am getting 74 strain. That one value difference is because instead of 377 we had done 378. I am adding another 100 grams. I am getting a value of 112. I am adding another 100 grams. I am getting 151. I am adding another 100 grams.
Dear students, welcome to the Mechanical Measurements and Metrology Lab. Today I will demonstrate one experiment, and that is on a strain gauge. The aim of this experiment is to determine modulus of elasticity of the aluminum specimen using the strain gauge. This is the strain gauge, which you can see it on the screen. This is the aluminum beam or cantilever beam. The modulus of elasticity of this beam you have to calculate. Okay, for this, what you have to do is first you have to measure the dimensions of this beam. Okay, that will be the initial observation. So initial observation of this experiment is thickness of the beam, that is T, that will be 49 mm, and width of the beam that will be 380 mm, and the length of the beam is 300 mm. So that initial observation you have to measure, means you have to take the dimensions of this beam. Okay, then once initial observation is done, what you have to do is you have to switch on the equipment by switching on the power supply button. Once the power supply button is switched on, you will get the screen, and if on the screen, if it is initially not 0, then you have to make it 0. Now it is 0, so no need to worry. Now what you have to do is there are the loads available to you. That is, all the loads are of 100 grams. So there are 10 loads, each are of 100 grams, and you have to go on adding the loads in a step of 100 gram up to 1000 gram, which means 1 kg. So initially I will apply 100 gram load to this beam, and you have to note down the microstrain reading on the screen. So here it is now 27. Now that you have to write in the tabular column. So serial number 1, applied load in terms of grams is 100 grams. Then the strain indicator is 27 strain. So once this is done, you have to go on adding the loads in a step of 100 gram every time. So you have to add 200 gram now. Again you have to note down the strain reading, and again you have to write in the tabular column. And again I will add one more 100 gram, it will become 300 gram. So you have to note down the strain reading again, you have to write in the tabular column. Like this you have to continue the experiment up to 1000 gram, that is 1 kg, and all the time you have to note down the corresponding strain reading. Once the tabular column is done, what you have to do is you have to do the calculation using the formula given here. So small e is your microstrain, B, T and L is the initial observation that you have made, and the capital F is the load. So for corresponding load, what will be the Young's modulus you have to calculate, that will be E. So like this you will get 10 Young's modulus reading. The average of that 10 Young's modulus reading will be your final result. So you have to write the final result as modulus of elasticity of the specimen E is given by some value, whatever the value you will get, that you have to write. That will be in terms of Newton per mm square. While doing the calculation, you have to be careful that all the units should be substituted properly. You have to take care of the units properly, because if you are substituting B in mm, the T should be also in mm, and L should be also in mm, and F is load. Here you are applying the load in terms of grams, but you have to convert this load F in terms of Newton. So these are the
Hello everyone, myself Piyush Antandil, working as Assistant Professor in Electrical Engineering Department of Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. And the name of subject is Industrial Instrumentation, which comes in 4th year, 7th semester. And today we are discussing about the strain gauge and strain measurement, and this is the module number 3. So first of all, starting with flow of content. So in this video lecture, we are going to see the material for strain gauge. Then after, the strain gauge characteristics. So which characteristics strain gauge should have to perform in optimum condition. Then after, wire resistance material. So which kind of material we are going to use for our resistance wire. Followed by the backing material, adhesive, leads and gauging techniques and other factors that are going to affect our measurement. Now, material for strain gauge. The materials that are used for fabrication of strain gauge and their installation for stress measurement must have some characteristics and minimum standard to obtain high accuracy, excellent reproducibility and good sensitivity, long life and ability to operate under required environment conditions. So our instrument or our measuring device should be very much of reliable. It has some good characteristics and minimum standard to obtain high accuracy. So accuracy should be high and excellent reproducibility. The reading should be very good sensitivity. So small amount of change in input output can be sensible. Then after long life and its ruggedness regarding the environment of the condition. Then after, the strain gauge must have the following characteristics. So strain gauge should have some of the characteristics to perform in good condition, right? So the value of gauge factor G. What is the value of gauge factor? That is must be high. So why we are requiring the value of gauge factor should be high? A high gauge factor indicate a large change in resistance for a particular strain, resulting in high sensitivity. So what is our equation of gauge factor? The equation of gauge factor is delta R by R divided by delta L by L. And what is delta L by L? That is our particular strain. Okay, what is delta L by L? It is our strain. So at a at low value of strain, the change in resistance should be high. At that time we can call as a large value of or high value of gauge factor, right? So it could have good sensitivity or high sensitivity. Next one, that is the resistance of the strain gauge must be as high as possible to minimize the effect of undesirable variation of resistance in the measurement circuit. So the resistance of the wire should be high to minimize the undesirable variation. So whenever we are measuring some stress with the help of our strain gauge or with the help of our resistance wire strain gauge, the resistance of that wire should be very much of high and it is not vary with respect to different environmental condition. They must have a low resistance temperature coefficient to minimize error on account of temperature variation that affect the accuracy of measurement. So the temperature coefficient should be very good of our resistance strain gauge, because if in our environment our temperature is going to change rapidly, at that time it is going to affect the accuracy of our strain gauge, right? So that's why we must have low resistance temperature coefficient. Then after, the strain gauge must not have any hysteresis effect in response. So we already studied about the hysteresis in first chapter, right? So strain gauge must not have any hysteresis, because if it have some amount of memory for the previous value, then it have some amount of hysteresis effect, and which is going to affect our present value. So we need to minimize that effect. To maintain the consistency of calibration over a complete range, it must have a linear characteristics. So our characteristics should be linear. We also know about the linearity of the instrument, that is the variation in resistance must be a linear function of the strain. They are used for dynamic measurement. Okay, dynamic measurement, it means our value, or we can say our input value, is changing rapidly with respect to time. Hence, their frequency response must be good. So, rapid change in input should be measured by our instrument. So, the frequency response must be very good. The linearity must be maintained within the accuracy limit over a complete frequency of the range. So linearity that must be maintained over a entire range. Okay. So next one, that is the resistance wire material. Now no single material is able to satisfy all the different property. Okay, so we require the composition of different two material or three material to make our cable. Okay, a number of metal or alloy are used to make the resistance wire right now, and some of them are explained, or we can say derived in this table. So over here material, so nichrome, so Ni 80% and Cr, that is 20%, and over here we can see the gauge factor. Over here Ni is the nickel and Cr is from indicating chromium, and atomic weight of the, or atomic number of nichrome is 28 and atomic number of the chromium is 24. So we are mixturing 80% of nichrome and 20% of chromium, so the gauge factor is going to be 2.5. its resistivity ohm per meter is 100 into 10 raised to minus 8, and temperature coefficient over here and upper limit temperature coefficient here. Then after constant, then after isoelastic nickel and platinum. So these are different material for that different